defendants committed what she called fraud by falsely inflating the value of Trump's assets.
All right, you know how I look at this? No, Tim, how do you look at this?
Yeah. How do you look at it?
I'm gonna just to say Donald Trump is guilty. I'm gonna say Donald Trump is going 61 miles an hour in a 55-mile speed zone, and you're gonna hit him with a $10 million fine. That's basically what's going on here, in my view. In my view, I mean the banks that he borrowed. It's the responsibility. What bank loans somebody millions and millions of dollars, right? And then that person, in the case of here, Donald Trump says, I'm good for it. My property value is X. Then if the bank has any question about that, whether he's inflating the value of his properties to get a loan, is not the bank going to go send their own people to investigate?
They do, and my understanding is what they then do is they say, okay, we have a difference of opinion on how much your property's worth, so we're going to charge you a higher interest rate, and because we want to keep doing business with you, we are going to lend you the money. That's the way business is done in this country, all from sea to shining sea.
Right.
There's
right.
nothing illegal about that.
Right. So the bank, the Deutsche Bank, the bank in Germany that he got this money from, they didn't complain to anybody.
No.
So there's no injured party that anybody can discern, which is what Kevin O'Leary
is
talking about.
Yes,
here.
and not to sound like a TV salesman, but wait, there's more. Trump does, of course, we're still waiting to find out whether or not he's going to pay or be able to pay this $500 million bond against him over this case, Letitia.
And that's Monday.
Yes, the deadline is Monday for that. Trump says he can pay it. He has money. He's not concerned. He said that yesterday in Palm Beach. I have that audio, but I can do more of Kevin O'Leary if you want.
No, play that.
Okay.
This is President Trump?
This is a reporter asking Trump and Melania yesterday in Palm Springs whether or not Trump can pay the bond. Clip 9.
Are you confident that you can pay the $464 million?
I built a great company, one of the greatest companies anywhere in the country, especially when it comes to real estate. Have some of the greatest assets in the world. And this is a rigged trial. This was a rigged trial by a crooked judge and a crooked attorney general. And we're fighting it out with them. We have a lot of cash and we have a great company, but they want to take it away, or at least take the cash element away. Billions of dollars in value, billions of dollars in properties, but they'd like to take the cash away.
All right, so, and I've heard Trump's attorney, what's her name? Habba.
Alina Habba.
Alina Habba?
Mm-hmm.
I heard her say that President Trump is worth billions and billions and billions of dollars. So I think the issue here for him is, okay, let's take the unfairness of the whole situation away and just talk about how he can get the money to pay this bond so that he can appeal the case, right? Because you got to do that, true? You got to post bond, or you can't appeal. And the bond is like $400-something million.
$500 million.
Okay, so I guess what he's saying right there is, I got the money, I just don't have it in cash. Is that?
Yes, as he mentioned in that clip, that audio we just played, he's got all kinds of properties. That doesn't mean he has a lot of what they call liquidity, which is cash in the bank. He would have to begin selling his properties and
to get the cash,
and selling it quickly to get the cash. And what happens is, smart people who buy property,
they know he's desperate.
They know he's desperate. We know you got to come up with it, so I'm going to pay. I'll buy it off you, but I'm going to buy it for 25% of what it's worth, and that's part.
I'm going to say Trump wins this case in the end. I don't know where it's going to end. If there's any justice in America, I don't know where it's going to end. This is a state case right now. It's going to go. He can't appeal, I guess, in the state of New York if he doesn't pay this money. This seems like a catch-22 to me. This law in New York, but
we don't have long though.
Can he not go to federal court?
He can, on the basis of the Eighth Amendment, which prohibits excessive fines.
You can quote the Eighth Amendment. By the way.
I can't.
I'm going to sit back and listen.
I can't. I could in the Spanish language, but nobody would understand.
That's it.
What? Seriously, you saying he could go in the eighth
Well, the Eighth Amendment. I'm going to get the right.
All right, go ahead.
The right language here. Excessive bail shall not be required, nor excessive fines imposed, nor cruel and unusual punishments inflicted. I think I don't understand New York law enough to know if he can appeal in New York, but I would think he could certainly appeal on the basis of his constitutional rights being violated on the basis of the Eighth Amendment.
Also, what Kevin O'Leary was saying earlier, Wesley and Chris and Ed and listeners, what he was saying earlier was take Donald Trump's name out of this situation. And this is scary in the state. He's talking about specifically in the state of New York, that if you get the if a person gets on the wrong side of the attorney general in this case, or maybe a district attorney or the governor in New York, you can be politically targeted. And
if you're bringing your business here,
right.
you're a Republican or conservative,
you can be targeted for your politics.
That's right.
I remember one time.
Compared it to Venezuela.
If you want to know how hostile it is in New York, the state of New York, for people who are conservatives, I remember about 5 years ago. Then Governor Andrew Cuomo, right?
Yeah.
Cuomo saying that people who were pro-life weren't welcome in New York.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember this?
Right.
Oh yeah.
He said it like that. Like, you're not welcome here. You're not a real human. We don't want your tourism dollars or anything like that because you're scum.
Yeah.
If you're pro-life. I remember. So the city of New York. Now it wasn't always like this. Remember, Rudolph Giuliani was the mayor for 8 years?
Yeah.
And cleaned the city up from crime. Remember that? Remember, he was basically
Times Square,
America's mayor. You remember that?
Yeah.
And then after that, it went downhill. And I don't know what's going to happen to New York, but that's the city of New York and the state of New York. Upstate New York's not near as flaming liberal as New York City, but New York City's got so many people it dominates politics to a large extent. So anyway, in hindsight, I bet Donald Trump wished he would have just got out of New York altogether after he was elected in 2016 with his business, because
of the trouble.
well, they're so liberal in those that they're doing like she did, like Letitia James did, just coming after him. Go ahead.
We do have more from Kevin
We do have
O'Leary.
more from Kevon O'Leary.
Chapter 2?
Yeah, but wait, there's more. In
You've already
regards
used
to
that
the
line.
$500 million bond, O'Leary said on CNN, there are no $500 million bonds. This is ridiculous. Clip 12.
There are no $500 million bonds. Never been done before. Never. This law has never been applied. Forget about Trump. Nothing to do with Trump. Everything to do about America and the New York brand. I love this state. My children live here. A horrible message to everybody around the world watching this. Absolutely horrific.
That was, without anybody asking me for my opinion, the most exciting thing on CNN since Wolf Blitzer reported on the Gulf War.
Bada boom.
Which was exciting.
Yeah.
It was.
Wolf
That's
Blitzer.
how we became Wolf Blitzer.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, and now
ahead.
this comes down to just a couple of days. This is not something that's going to be pushed out, right? Is it Monday?
He's got to come up with the cash by Monday.
Monday. That's what I thought. Yeah. So
I think he'll either come up with. I think he'd probably come up with it somewhere or another.
well, Well, politically speaking, it would be really, I say politically, for entertainment, it would be really fun to watch, call their bluff and let.
See if she goes and padlocks Trump Tower.
She will.
Yeah.
She will. I think she's living for that moment when she turns for the cameras and say, "Look what I just did."
It's been
Now-
a few days since he's been indicted. He could use this.
I know you guys hate this kind of open-ended question, but I'm not quite sure about. I think it would be great for his political goals to have that footage
Absolutely.
of like the yellow
'Cause
tape.
Yeah.
Saying, "Listen, this is what I've been facing." Okay, but my question is, if he does not pay the bond on Monday, can he then appeal it?
Well,
That's my question.
The montage of attacks, political attacks on former President Trump, is coming soon. And when that ad comes, he would like for this to be in it.
Yeah.
Because you think about how they took over Mar-a-Lago, the FBI,
Yes.
they raided it. This is not the first time, and wherever you fall on it, the problem here, it looks really bad for the Democrats.
Listen, I have no way of knowing this. I haven't heard anybody else comment on it. I'm thinking there's a chance that he could appeal to a federal court to stop this in its tracks until such time as, I don't know, he's able to get the money together. Listen, from between.
That's a whole nother problem.
Or does he even
How
want
much?
to?
Yeah.
Because he can get the cash. It might take him another week or two. Talking about Trump seems to me, but I don't know.
Did
You
you
know,
guys see
it's
the,
been a long time since I dealt in that kind of money.
you too, huh?
Yeah.
That BA in
I used to
communication
run in
has
those
really paid
circles,
off for
but-
me.
That's right.
Did you guys see the post or tweet from Mark Levin a couple of days ago in regards to Trump and this bond?
I think I know the one you're talking
Yeah.
about. Go ahead.
He posted, which is what we now call tweeted, he posted, "Why are there no Republican multi-billionaires offering to lend President Trump the funds to file his appeal in the outrageous case in New York State? Are none of them liquid enough to help or join with others to help? This is an outrage." They could be in a situation
Yeah,
like Trump where they're asset rich.
I
but
like
cash
Mark
poor.
Levin. I think that's ridiculous.
A lot of people
What-
did tell him
That's ridiculous.
much.
It's not anybody's. Listen. You've got. It's not ridiculous that people. First of all, President Trump would never, ever admit to anybody loaning him money, personally, because he's superior to everybody.
Sure.
I'm just telling you how he thinks. He's a narcissist with the capital N. And so that's why he would never say, yeah, thank you, Vivek, for loaning me some money because I was a desperate man. Trump's never ever going to say that. So the idea that, and plus of all, people don't want to put up their own money to help out somebody in legal trouble usually because they think they might lose it. So Vivek Ramaswamy, himself a billionaire, and what's his son-in-law's name?
Jared.
Kushner, who made $2 billion. Some people don't off Saudi deals, which
Yeah.
I don't know. That may all be legitimate. I'm sure it is.
Right.
I'm just talking about that's what people say. That they could come up with the money if they want to, but Trump may not want to come up with the money because,
What I s- yeah.
like you're saying, Wesley, because he wants to prove a point about this AG persecuting him, and that helps him politically. I don't know. Just
I would
Absolutely.
say one thing I do disagree with Kevin O'Leary about is it absolutely has everything to do with Donald Trump.
yes, it does. I don't know what he's talking about.
I think what he's trying to get at is forget about the Trump issue. This is bad for New York City and for the state of
Right.
New
I
York
would say- I
and
would
for
agree.
America.
They're both true, though.
yeah.
Because, well, he's trying his point because he doesn't want to have any connection with Donald Trump.
Right. He don't
O'Leary
want to
He
look
don't
like
want to
he's
come
offended.
across as being supportive.
Right.
No, he doesn't. He wouldn't want to answer those phone calls.
Right.
But what he does want to point out is that it sets a bad precedence.
Whoever it is.
Whoever it is.
Fill in
Take
the blank, whatever name
Yeah.
it is about Trump, but it isn't about Trump.
But-
What his
Yeah.
point.
And then I understand that motivation of trying to distance yourself
But
from a very politically controversial
But you're
person.
right. If it wasn't Donald
But
Trump,
if it wasn't Donald Trump, we wouldn't be talking
That's-
about
no,
it.
that's 100%
That's why
true.
Letitia James went after him.
Yes. All right. So we're out of time. Thank you for your time. Thank you, Wesley, Ed, Chris, Brent Creeley, our producer. Fred Jackson was here earlier.
Pastor Mike Mason.
Pastor Mike Mason. Was that everybody
I think so.
that was on the show? I guess I could thank myself.
Did you mention our fine
I did.
producer
Brent Creeley. Yeah, I
Creeley,
did.
who earlier made a really tragic mistake on the
Yes.
microphone fiasco?
Yeah. Yeah.
That was
The day that will live in infamy.
That's
Thanks
number
for-
7.
I love Brent. He knows that.
Yeah,
We'll
sure.
see you tomorrow, everybody. Have a great day.
Spiritual Heritage